F122 isn't really a bad game, but Codemasters' most recent Formula 1 release still felt like a letdown all the same. From a copy-paste single-player experience to the terribly misjudged F1 life, it all just felt flat. Combine that with the understeery new F1 regulations and an expansive preview run that saw the game picked apart and judged before it even hit the shelves, and as a result, F122 has had one of the shortest cycles in recent memory. With F123 now just around the corner, and with Codemasters starting to reveal just what new features will be in this year's release, I'm Mark from RacingGames, and we think it's time to ask, can F123 reignite the passion for the F1 series? It's a worn out phrase at this point, but Formula 1 has never been so popular. The somewhat over-dramatised Drive to Survive series, along with 2021's stellar championship fight between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, ignited interest in the sport like never before, and fans have never felt more connected to this generation of drivers thanks to content like Grill the Grid. That should make for a wildly popular official video game series, especially when you throw in the impressive balance that Codemasters has struck between accessibility for controller players and the suite of assists that make the game fun for new racers, while also maintaining a degree of realism for the elite racers out there. However, the recent F1 games have been more on the disappointing side than fans would have liked. F1 2021 was a backward step from F1 2020, with the cars almost exact replicas thanks to that year's regulations, and little to no game mode changes beyond the addition of Breaking Point and the removal of classic cars. F1 22 was similar, still no classic cars, and this time no Breaking Point either. But of course, there was the debut of F1 Live. Sure, other little tweaks have been made to game modes, and of course the new regulations were included, but over time the long-standing community have felt more and more disillusioned with the series. And, because of that, new players are also put off when they see the existing community in disarray. So can F123 rectify all that? F123's pre-launch campaign got off to a rather bizarre start, with the car launch for Breaking Point 2 showing off the new Codemasters racing team, with the first full trailer landing the following week. Since then, we've also had the first deep dive into the new gameplay features, and there is plenty to love. From Breaking Point 2 and Red Flags to the inclusion of Las Vegas and Qatar from launch, it all looks promising. But as ever, the only real proof will be in the playing of it. F1 World, revealed in a press release rather than in the trailer, sounds like an interesting development, offering a mix of challenges to unlock new liveries, helmets, and unlock car upgrades. Yeah, okay, it sounds like a reworked Podium Pass, but hopefully in its new home of F1 World, it will tie into the game progression a lot better this year. We'll hopefully find out more in the second deep dive later this week. Despite all the positivity around the trailers, what each one has left out is the most popular part of the game, Career Mode and My Team. The biggest issue with F122 for many players was just how similar the single player modes felt to previous years. It's hard to innovate a formula that already works. The F1 single player experience is a good one, but with the seasons feeling repetitive and no fresh aspect being marketed for F123, players will rightly feel disheartened about F123 already. Of course, Red Flags are great, but they should have been in the game for years by now, and were in the games on the Xbox 360 before disappearing. Outside of that, it looks like Race Day and the Driver HQ will feel pretty similar to previous years, which is a bit of a problem. Sharper members of the F1 community will have noticed the complete bypassing of any mention of anti-cheat as well, something that has become a real issue for the competitive league racers out there. It's not so long ago that the F1 series was in a real purple patch. The games were getting better and better, and with the introduction of My Team in F1 2020, the series arguably hit its peak. Its popularity exploded thanks in part to real-life drivers jumping into the game during lockdowns in events like the Virtual Grand Prix. And while there was a bit of a plateau in F1 2021, nothing really prepared us for the drop in F1 22. Naturally, some fingers have been pointed at EA, who purchased Codemasters at the height of the series' power and are now fully in charge, but the blame can't totally be laid at their feet. With each game in a 2-year development cycle, many features that EA have been blamed for were already being worked on by Codemasters before the purchase, with F1 23 being the first game fully developed under the EA ownership. There's also a balance struggle going on. Codemasters have tried to please everyone for a long time, from pad players to wheel racers, young and new fans to seasoned pros, and now old gen players and high-end PC racers, and it's held them back. The graphics engine is also starting to show its age, and is in desperate need of an upgrade. F1 23 was an opportunity for Codemasters to make the F1 series more focused, but with the game also being released on old gen consoles, it seems once again the chance to evolve has had a false start. Some of the biggest issues of F1 22 do seem to be addressed in F1 23. The new handling improvements should make the cars easier to control, something a lot of players complained about in F1 22. Revised safety ratings should help clean up online play, with or without the desperately needed anti-cheat. Breaking point returning adds an extra single player experience for those who burn out of career mode and my team quickly. And finally, we have new tracks to explore and red flags to mix up race weekends. The proof of F1 23 will be in the playing, and we don't have to wait too long to find out if this game gets the series back on track or continues its decline. We here at RacingGames are remaining cautiously optimistic, but what do you think? Do you believe F1 23 has enough to reignite the passion in the fanbase, or do you think it's just another step on the copy-paste ladder? Let us know down below, and why not subscribe to the channel while you're there for all things F1 23. For now though, thanks for watching. I've been Mark from RacingGames, and we'll catch you here on the channel for another video soon.